There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. I know I just popped on. I don't really expect anybody. I didn't schedule it, but hello, welcome to Leap Taken. I'm Mika. Here at Leap Taken, I talk all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. Let me get my clothes together. There we go. I feel like oh, it's the wrong side. Hi. So I'm gonna kind of jump into this witchy review because I kind of, I want to share some things. Why is this not right? I don't know. Maybe I didn't tie it right. Anyway, I want to share a couple different things. I want to talk about a video that's popped up. I don't know how long. I gotta double check to see how long it's been out, but I'm just seeing it, and it's a series called "I Am Witch." So we're going to talk about that, give my kind of 2 cents about that because I know it's kind of making its way around. I'm going to pull it up so I can have it ready. But yeah, I know it's kind of making its way around. So I'm going to talk about that first because I have some strong opinions. First of all, I want to say this. I think it's really awesome that someone, and I'm not sure who put the series together, that I Am a Witch. It's over on Stash. I did not link it because I just didn't. I'm trying to bring it up and I'm playing it by accident. Anyway, um, yeah, I Am a Witch documentary, full movie, modern witchcraft. I see it says it came out 7 months ago. It's the first that I'm seeing it. I see it's at about 20,000 views now. I've not seen this before. And I'm seeing people, yeah, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago. It just came on my feed. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but look it up. It's called I Am a Witch, and it'll say documentary, and it's on Stash. So let's talk about this series. Um, Even though it's been out for some time, like I said, it's new to me. And one of the things that I want to talk about is that diversity. And that's something I know I talked about it with my witchy friends already. We've already sort of had our well, yeah, we've had our comments about it. And I don't want to rip on this movie or this documentary because, like I said, I appreciate that we even have something like that, that we're even I love seeing that's what attracted me to it because I saw, oh, it's about witches. Oh, let me watch this. I can't wait to watch it. So imagine when I pull this up, it's like, so it's like, okay, we have a bunch of, first of all, everybody's white. There's a male, there's different age, diversity in ages, but please understand everybody looks white. That's it. Full stop. And I feel like that is a disservice. I don't know who put this together, what the intention was. If you were to watch this, one, the documentary spent a lot of time to me focusing on a particular, like a lot of people had their time. I didn't measure the screen time, but, or maybe it was just, there's this one particular younger, skinnier witch that they keep focusing on. She's the new, she can tell it's new to her, and that's fine. But I felt like they spent a lot of time with her. Like it's a documentary, so they're going to different people at different points. And I just felt like there were times they spent way too much time on someone who clearly was still learning the craft. So she was kind of just fumbling through, and I didn't understand what the purpose of that was other than she's skinny and young, and I know that's a thing. And I don't know who put this together. It could have been another fellow, a woman. I don't know. I don't know who put this documentary together, but you're telling on yourself. Um, you're telling on yourself, and it's nothing wrong with being new to the craft. There's nothing wrong with being new to the world and being fairly young. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, just they spent so much time on this witch who didn't seem to know what the f she was doing, and honestly it was painful to watch because what was I supposed to get from this? To watch this, was I supposed to find it endearing? Watching her fumble, was I'm supposed to find that and like relatable. So, oh, I can relate to that because I fumble around too. Is that what I'm supposed to? If I'm watching this, I might be watching this. I mean, not everyone's a beginner. That's a whole other thing that bothers me about, I feel like right now, about the books, the materials that are being put out for witches. So much is based on basic, if you're a beginner. I'll just say that. And they, like I said, they did show other witches of different well, I don't know about backgrounds. It seemed like everybody was, not everybody, but a lot of people spoke as if they were coming from a Wiccan background, even if they said they weren't. One woman is like, again, a lot of them did not seem to have an extensive knowledge of witchcraft. And again, it's okay that you have people of varying backgrounds and understanding, and that's okay. But when you put together a documentary, like, it would be really awesome if you had maybe one person represented like that. I felt like there were several people, and it was dry and bland. And if they would have sprinkled in anybody, at this point, a man of color, any person besides just who they had on there, it would have been easier to watch. I was getting bored most of it. It goes on for more than an hour. It was kind of boring. They weren't telling you anything. I didn't learn anything new. I wasn't necessarily looking to, first of all, whenever I engage in anything, I'm always open to learn. So let me just be clear. Whether it's a video, it's a younger person, older, I'm always looking to learn something, or at least be, I don't know, affirmed in something I already know. This felt like it was a hard, honestly, after a while, it was very difficult to watch. Like I said, it was boring after a while because they weren't really saying anything. And just hearing these people kind of fumble through basic witchcraft things, I'm like, who, why these people? What, why these people? And it was even the ones who were older. I don't know how long they've been practicing per se. Maybe they said it and I missed it because, like I said, it was kind of dry. But again, this goes back to my point. This is why you needed black people in that video. You needed somebody black. I'm gonna just say it. Y'all need. I don't want to say no people color. You needed black witches. And I think one of the things that just gives me a dang on headache is that Black witches exist. This is a conversation that is had amongst myself and other Black witches, by the way. We exist. And there's nothing wrong with being a hoodoo practitioner, calling yourself hoodoo. Oh, I don't like that term. I'm an occultist, I'm spiritualist. That's great. But outside of that, there are Black Americans out here, because they were all American, by the way. They, from it appeared, by speech and pattern. But anyway, we are also witches. We call ourselves witches. We are not calling ourselves anything but witches. I call myself a cottage witch. I'm just saying it gets a little, it's getting old. It's getting old, in 2024, to constantly see no representation. And I don't want a Black witch on there for the purpose of representation. I want a Black witch on there who knows what the F she was talking about. And there's one thing I have noticed about, just in general, when me, Blacks, people, women specifically, approach a subject, especially something that isn't um, known to be associated with us, whether it's career, whatever it is. We're gonna know our shit, excuse my French, and we're gonna come into it with knowledge, because most of us instilled in us, in order to be accepted. And when I mean accepted, not like you have to be accepted to be a witch, but to be, if you're putting yourself out in a public, like myself, in a public platform, I might need to know what I'm talking about. And I probably go a little bit harder, because since I could speak and understand, I've been told I have to go harder. Whatever it is I'm doing, I gotta be the best at it. I gotta be, and just to be questioned when I'm in a building. This is again through work, through social things, including witchcraft. And I've been practicing as a witch for quite some time. When I get in spaces where I'm the only person with melanation, people tend to make a lot of assumptions, but never the correct one. And I just feel like what was lacking as someone who's been in practicing witch in multiple, many spaces, not just black spaces, not just all white spaces, sometimes diverse spaces, is that y'all, it's got to stop with just an all white crew of just witches and just representing that's as witch. And you got the one girl fumbling around, the other one saying stuff that is clearly Wiccan ideology. It's not for witches. Like she was like, well, I don't hex anyone because that could come back to you 3 times. Girl, what? That's if you believe that. That's not the case. Yeah, if that's what you believe in your system, but you're speaking as if that's the practice of that is how she presented that, as if it was a practice of witchcraft. These people, um, at one point, they didn't even know elements. Like it was like instead of earth, she said ground. Like it was a lot. It was a lot of, and if you look at the comments, some people are saying, I mean, this is awesome, but it's a lot of misinformation in this video. And then, the one male which they had on there, I they that was their diversity. I guess that was their diversity. I got maybe 10 minutes in and thought, what is the point of this? Exactly. That's how I felt. What are we doing? I could think of so many, like, I don't know if these were just all friends or people who are like online together and they know each other and they, somebody said, oh, I'm gonna pick you to be in a movie or something like that. I don't know what was I to gain? I thought it was going to be where we were going to see these different witches and see their different perspectives, and I just felt like they had a lot of very beginning into witchcraft witches who really what it was a hard thing. I zoned out some of it. Not gonna lie, I don't remember all the details because I had a hard time focusing on it. And it's just to the greater point that is frustrating for me as someone who creates content about witchcraft, as someone who consumes content about witchcraft, is that people like me are just not present. If I search for someone like me, um, I get the African American witch, Black witch. You get everything but what you're looking for. You might get 1 or 2 videos or something, and it's usually something where they're talking about, and then next thing you know, it's like a rock band or something like that. Like it's basically you're not going to see me, and that is infuriating. And I'm like, maybe I should start. I don't. I know I've put African American witch or Black witch in the description at one point. I was doing hashtags, so I know something should be popping up, and I think I might try it again. I'm kind of revamping the channel starting in September. So with fresh content and things like that. So you know what? Maybe I'll give it a try. That way, if someone like me is searching for someone like me, they can find me. And it's not to say that you have to be black, like only black people follow only black people. We're not. I mean, I'm not segregating myself, but at the same time, in a sea of non-black faces or half or of color but not black, I'd like to sometimes see myself represented and see from my perspective, because I know we're going to share something very similar in how you practice witchcraft. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that's crazy. And also I know for a fact there are witches that exist who are Black American witches. I'm not saying, and again, I want to make a distinction from hoodoo practitioner, because they don't necessarily call themselves witches. And I will see some of that, even though I don't see a lot of that anymore on YouTube. TikTok is riddled with just a lot of people with the little nose piercing and a bonnet on or something else running around talking about, and with some cards. You got tarot cards. You telling me don't call me a witch though. And they all talk about Florida water. Like I can't. So I'm just, and that gives me, as the kids say, the ick. And so did this documentary because it was just a fumbling mess of just these point of views. And I really wanted to hear more from the older witches. I wanted it to kind of like, and I was hoping for better questions, and I don't know. Childhood was a mess, and I'm just end it there because I don't want to keep talking bad about it. I want to share altar cloth that I got, so I do have an item, and then I'm going to get into the book review. But I just had to talk about it again. I think it's been out for some time. It just came across my feed, and I actually saw somebody else do a review about this recently, and I was like, I didn't even know this movie existed, and it was. I like the effort behind it, and I'd love to see more, but I didn't like what was presented. I don't understand. Like you said, what was the point of it? It was trying my patience. But I want to share a fun altar cloth that I got from Timu. Let me back up. Isn't this nice? And it was only, I don't even remember how much it was. It was a couple dollars. And of course, I didn't put a link because why would I do that? Anyway, I'll have to go back in and put links. But anyway, this is really gorgeous. And it really fits my aesthetic because I love the color pink and black and green. And when I saw this, I was like, yeah, this is all me. There's so many witches out there who know their stuff. I would like to see more older witches of exactly, and witches of color. Yes, it's at this point it feels on purpose. It felt intentional because there's no way you couldn't find. Shoot, I would have taken Puerto Rican. I would take Hispanic, like something. Come on now, y'all couldn't find nobody except for all these white people to put up there. Somebody else to represent just that calls themselves a witch as well. It gave the energy of witches are white. And I know they at no point, and also I felt like they didn't really explain, like you said, the point of this. What was, I took liberties to assume the point was that, oh, these are witches. These are witches. It's called I'm a witch, so they're showing me witches. Can my mom and me pay for you to get a pedicure? We're both white. It would be an honor. Oh my God. Wait a minute now. Oh, but first of all, I'm like, wait, did you see my feet? Not me. Can you pay for me? We're both white. That would be an honor. Well, that's really nice of you. I don't do best unique feet 17. Like, do you have a place or something that you guys do pedicures? I'm going by your name and then I'm looking at like in the request. So I'm just trying to understand. That's a very specific thing to ask. Thank you. Yeah, that'd be very sweet. Yeah, maybe that could be arranged. That'd be very sweet. But do you guys run, do you do pedicures? Best unique feet 17. Thank you. That's sweet. Um, on my videos, by the way, in the description, there's contact information, email, and stuff like that. If you ever wanted to email or contact me, and my email is mika@leaptaken.com, by the way. If you guys ever wanted to email or ask questions, there you go. Um, and also, I believe I put my post office box also in the description as well, if you ever wanted to send something to me. But I want to talk about this book, and that was sweet. Thank you. Wolf Gone Wild by Juliet Cross. So this was a really actually good book. It's a book one in a series. Stay a Spell book one. So it is a series. I picked this up at Barnes and Noble. Not sure. We don't, but we're trying to be aware of our roles as white people. We both have a passion for female feet. It would be such an honor to send you. Oh, that's sweet. Well, thank you. Yeah, go ahead and yeah, my email, my contact information is in the description. If you want to, go ahead and just reach out to me. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is an interesting book for me because I took a whim. I was in a romance section. I'm always going to pick up a paranormal book. That's my jam. Um, Romance section in Barnes and Noble. And, I was like, at the time, these were summer reads. Technically, we're still in summer, so I'm still keeping with my summer reading goals. I have another book I just started. But for the 15,000th time, I've been in a funk. I've been having a hard time, or had been having a hard time just focusing on reading. So if you notice, like book reviews have kind of like slowed down a little bit because I just haven't been reading at the level that I'm accustomed to, that I'm used to reading. So that has changed. And I've just been reading crazy over here, reading a bunch of different things. So let's talk about this one. Thanks for replying. You have an amazing page and energy. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I try. um, but yeah, so let me tell you what this is about and why I think you should get this book and add this to your witchy library. So, spoiler: werewolves, wolf going wild. So there's werewolves. I bought this in a book haul a couple months ago, by the way. But anyway, werewolves and vampires and witches. So, what's the worst thing that can happen to a werewolf? Unable to shift into his wolf form for 3 months, Mateo Cruz knows all too well. His wolf alter ego has taken up residence in his head, taunting him night and day with vividly violent and carnal thoughts. Convinced he's been cursed, he seeks the help of a powerful witch to undo it before he literally goes insane. Evie Savoy has always obeyed the house rules of her coven: no werewolves. They're known for being moody and volatile. So, when a quick tempered werewolf strolls into the bar and almost strangles one of her late night customers, she's ready to bounce him. But her heart softens when she sees the desperation in his eyes as he begs for her help. Maybe she can bend the rules just this once. What Evie doesn't know is that Mateo's wolf has a mind of his own. And now that she's in his sights, he wants only one thing: her. So let me tell you something. I didn't know what I was getting into. Never. I mean, I think I've heard of Julia Cross before. I'm pretty sure, but I never. I just picked it up blind. This book came out in 2019. There's more recent copies because again, it's a series. But I started with book one. Something about the cover art drew me. I like this a lot. I don't know. It got me. But I judged the book by its cover. But let me tell you, this was very delicious. It was a lot to read because there's over 400 pages in this book, and I read this in about 4 solid days. It could have been 3, but I had some other stuff to attend to. But I read this because I couldn't put the book down. It's delicious. I love her writing style. I love the pacing of the book. I love that it's from the point of view of Mateo and Evie. So I like the back and forth of going back and forth with the characters. Um, it's important, I think, with this particular book to go back and forth from their point of views because with Mateo, there's actually a third point of view. So with werewolf lore, um, the wolf is a part of you if you're a werewolf, but also it's separate from you. Meaning when you turn, that wolf gets its freedom and it can be where they want to hunt. They want to, get into some strange things. That wolf can be wild and do that, right? But it's its own technically it's its own personality separate from the person, the man. So Mateo isn't able to turn. And I'm not going to give us so much away because I really think this is a it was a fun read and sweet at the same time. And I'm going to get into something else in a minute, but he isn't able to turn because he's been cursed. She's a hex breaker, Evie. That's what this is about. So he doesn't know her beforehand. He gets in touch, he finds her, and it starts with him en route to her or trying to find this hex breaker because he's going crazy. It's been a couple months and this is a part of who he is. He has to turn. So now his werewolf persona talks to him, communicates in his head, and also sometimes takes over. So it was very interesting to read this from that because the werewolf side is violent, doesn't want to necessarily do societal type so, like be civil. Like if you do something and very overprotective, all that what you would think with a werewolf. Now, the magic component of this book. So Evie is a hex breaker. She's not, they at some, for a while, hey, gemstones, it doesn't seem like they're doing a lot of magic, I'll be honest with you, at certain parts, because they're developing the connection, the romance part is taking over. So there, I would say it's a lot more romance heavy, and then they come in with the witchcraft a little bit more, or the magic, I should say. Um, I wish they had a little bit more magic, but it was interlaced in there. It was there. I'm not going to say it's not there because it is. I wish it was just a little bit more. Um, there is some a plot twist, and I'm not going to give it away, but the goal is to figure out who is the most this witch that put this on here. You'd have to be pretty powerful to, stop a werewolf from being able to change into a wolf, at the full moon. And he technically can change at will, but they usually go by the full moon. Anyway, and this was a delightful book. The romance or the spiciness of it, I did not know when I came into it, was actually a lot more spicier than I realized it would be. Fun fact, I know that Barnes and Noble has decided that anything in the erotic fiction category, I think they said that they're going to stop selling that, Barnes and Noble. Um, and this is concerning because it feels like almost like a banning situation. And of course, they're a business, they can decide what they're going to sell. That's up to them. However, I feel like this is targeted. I feel like there's a shift occurring right now, and it's happening ever so lightly. We're seeing it in the political sphere. We see it with legislation and things that we thought were just law precedent. Um, it's be undone, and at every facet, including in education, the libraries, and now a major book retailer. This is not. I don't believe this is considered erotica. I mean, they don't category. Right now, this is still very much like spicy romance. But one of the problems is that if you are on, let's say, Book Talk or even on Twitter where people, but it's Book Talk a lot of times, but I guess on Twitter, I'm not on there that often, where they're talking about books, women specifically talking about, different tropes that are definitely on the extra spicy scale in fiction. Um, there are a lot of men who are pressed about that and make go on podcasts talking about how women are just basically reading porn, and so what if they are? But they've been kind of building, 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 if you didn't know this, and I feel like they got results from that. Because guess what? Barnes and Noble is made they said they're gonna make this decision. I don't know when exactly they roll this into effect, but okay, so we're starting with that. Next thing you know, it'll be books that are about, witchcraft and things like that. Oh, we don't want to get into that. And then it'll be something like I feel like we're on a I feel like we're gonna go into like the dark ages, a modern version of the dark ages, our society. And just like in the previous dark ages, for some parts of the world were experiencing it, and the other ones were in enlightenment. They were thriving. And then unfortunately, they also took their own descent into that because of religion and just a very men focused society. Um, and I I feel like we're headed that way. It's going to take some time. I don't think it'll be next year. And I don't think this is something that's going to be avoided even by having a woman president. We'd have to have several women presidents. It'd have to be like, it's not, because I feel like we've already been on this ride for some time, or what they say, the train has left the station on this, just of the decline. And if you really stop and you just look at, have you tried to talk to someone in public lately, or even some family who kind of see things a little bit different than you? Have you tried to talk to them? It has become, and I'm not even talking politics, just like about anything that they are not, that's not in their bubble, in their sphere. Um, polite conversation maybe, but if it gets to the point where you're making a larger point or you're trying to focus, have you noticed its civility is disappearing? You said every day, yeah. It's it has, I mean, in some place I feel like it's just straight. And our elders, a lot of our elders are so angry. Um in their final years, they're angry. They really do. Well, we know why. A lot of them, they believe, my thing is, the world is going to end. Well, from your perspective, because you have more years behind you than ahead of you. And a lot of them take that to mean, well, I've got to make things right. Or so making things right is basically just yelling and complaining all the dang on time. But they are having an impact. They unfortunately, and then we have a group of younger people. I'm very concerned about the young men, like in like 18 to like early 20s. Um, it's like a really less empathetic group. It seems like some of them, and also they don't like they're I'm not they're attracted to women, but I don't think they like women very much, and that is actually deeply concerning. So I'm guys, I'm just really concerned about, well, over the next few years, what else is going to be, on a chopping block? Will I still, like, will this platform in this capacity where I'd be able to freely talk about witchcraft without, serious consequence? I'm really, and I don't think it'll be like in a year or two. I think this is like a down the road thing, a steady decline, because it's a lot of moving pieces that have to kind of all click into place for it to just be, and then it'll be that way for quite some time before we come out of it into another age of enlightenment. But what would the enlightenment even look like? I don't know. While you can get your spicy works of fiction, is my point. But let's be thankful you and other amazing women can have their voices heard. I am very thankful. I listen, I this is something I seriously think about, because we know it wasn't always like this. And let's not say, oh, way back before time. No, I'm going to talk about, I mean, honestly, I know because of TikTok, there's somewhere in the Midwest, there's a woman who runs a metaphysical store, and she does tarot readings, and a local police officer or he's like the head of the police. I don't know what they call him. He tried to have her shop shut down, and they found some old antiquated law basically so that she can't do that. Before this, she was getting harassed, and I am seeing people who own metaphysical stores get harassed with like these weird conservatives, or they identify as conservative Christians, come in, and they're trying to shut the store down, and they come in there saying, oh, you don't, this is the devil and all that sort of stuff, and harassing people who come in. They have to call the police to ask them to leave. And this is actually happening already. Now, of course, I'm in my own home and I'm projecting out, but like I mean, honestly, they could just censor. Well, one, I already feel like sometimes my channel is censored through YouTube for various reasons. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Um, I do have my thoughts on that. I do. I do think that sometimes my channel is just not being shown. My videos are not being shown very often. I don't know what that's about, but that's how I feel, because I'm someone who sometimes do look at analytics, and I look at other creators, and I look at things that are similar, very similar in style to what I'm doing. And it doesn't make any sense. And then I actually have people say, wow, this is the first time I saw your channel or saw your video. I wonder why I've searched for stuff like this. So it's just very interesting. I don't mean to get off topic. Hog the chat, but you say you were a witch. I just wanted to make sure I'm addressing you correctly, formally, and respectfully. But why, yes, I am. I mean, I call myself a cottage witch, to be specific. Once upon a time, I called myself an eclectic witch. But yes, this is a witchy review, and it's called Witchy Review because I'm the witch. Yes, openly so. It's one of the reasons I love a good paranormal romance. But yeah, get these things while you can is my point. So this was actually a really fun read. I almost want to say like a slow burn if you're looking for that. I still kind of classify it as a summer read. Maybe if you want to add a little spice going into the fall, that's a good one. So I picked up another book through Totally Understand What I Just Didn't Want to Assume. Very grateful. Oh, no worries. Um, I picked up a book through Kindle, and it's on Kindle Unlimited. I'm going to pull this up for you guys, and it's called Dark Rituals. So I was very curious because I said, you know what? Let's do. All right, let me. Or my Kindle kind of froze for a second. I mean, the app froze. I'm going to get to the cover in a second. By Brittany Nightshade. Don't know much about her or anything like that, but this is the book on Kindle, Dark Rituals. So I was very curious. So, um, copyright 2022, so it didn't just come out. So this is everything from, it talks about the basics, creating a circle, calling quarters, spellcraft, ritual work, intention. I've read that, like the basics part, and the rest is just kind of giving you a bunch of spells and rituals and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes these books that you get, the free ones, like, or not, they're technically not free because I'm paying a membership, but on Kindle Unlimited in Witchcraft, some of them are iffy. If you have Kindle Unlimited and you've read any of these books, some of them are iffy. You can't, sometimes it just seems like someone's just like those people in that documentary, like they wrote the book sometimes. However, sometimes you get a real gem. Sometimes you can find something that is actually, you're shocked that it was on Kindle Unlimited because it's so good. And honestly, some of the things in here really surprised me. Um, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of surprised me. So let's get into I'm just gonna jump into it. So it's Dark Rituals, Black Magic, a spell book of curses. So um again, this flies in the face that and also they talk about like doing um unhexing or something like that in this book as well. But listen to this. Silence your enemies. So this is a silence your enemies spell. This is a classic hoodoo Santeria ritual, excuse me, that involves using a cow tongue to keep people from speaking ill of you. This can also prevent them from casting magic on you or your family and friends. So I'm just going to tell you what they say you need: a cow tongue, 9 feet of black thread or yarn, nails or pens, paper, whiskey, black candle, sharp knife, pepper, any kind will do. And they go through a series. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but they go through a whole thing on the ritual and so forth of what you would need to do, to kind of silence them. I personally, I thought that was a good try. I was actually shocked at the number. Not everything is hoodoo, by the way, but they did. That was a good one. I mean, if you want to take from one, that was a good one. Um, Failed harvests, salt the earth. It says rituals like this were traditionally used to do exactly what the spell says: make a person's harvest fail. The fields wouldn't produce, and the farmer's livelihood would be ruined. That being said, this ritual can also be used to ensure that any project or endeavor that's taken on by the target will come to failure. Now, and I thought that was very interesting. See, I don't think like this, so this book was just fun in a way to kind of think. I don't have anyone lined up to do this type of spell work for. I'm not looking to curse or hex anyone right now, but sometimes it's good to step out of your comfort zone, right? And just read something a little bit different. And this was me stepping out of my comfort zone and just trying something different. Let me tell you what you need for this: salt, dirt, a bowl, cauldron, vessel for the dirt, black or brown candle. So I just thought this was really, I don't, I mean, you have to really do something for me to be like digging into my arsenal trying to, get you. I would, but gratefully knock on big IKEA wood, nothing's happening. And to me, where I need to do something like that. Um, there is a return to sender jar spell. With this ritual, you'll be creating a magic jar that is designed to draw in all energies being sent from a specific person and send that energy back to them, resulting in whatever curse spell they're trying to cast on you being inflicted back on them. So they said they you need a glass jar with lid, small mirror, nails, pepper, black or red, and a candle. Now, I'm glad they brought the mirror in because typically with anything to do with I'm going to say unwanted work, magical workings being put on you. I'm a big proponent, and when I've had someone consult with me, I've always told them to use a mirror. You don't really need a lot of other things. I mean, this is cool, the other stuff they're talking about. Quite frankly, you don't really need a lot of other stuff. Really, just you in that mirror, and you can do the work right there. But let me tell you what they say. So there's a, you set things up. This is the chant or charm. Mirror, mirror, protect this place from malicious energies, but don't erase. Send it back from whence it came. Redirect the straight to this name. Redirect straight to this name, and then you say the person's name 3 times. Light the candle, so forth and so down. So yeah. So um I like this book a lot actually. So there are so I mean they have a curse in here. This curse will cause a person's hair to start gradually thinning. I rebuke you if you send that to me. Already got perimenopause doing that. I don't need nothing new coming in to do that. I rebuke you and I will hurt you. Um, Wow, it's all kinds. Some people don't feel guilt for the horrible things they've done, and this spell will force them to reckon with their actions. They will feel a gnawing pain in their side as the guilt mounts and grows, and as their discomfort becomes too much to bear, they will seek to repent for their actions. 3 small nails, a small pouch or bag, paper, pencil. So that's an interesting one too. Um, There's one here that involves Psalms, the Psalm, yeah, I don't know that. To aid in winning a court case, John the Conqueror root or oil, court shoes, and Psalms 35. I haven't seen anything that has a lot to do with the Bible like that. Um, so yeah, summon a storm, altar, a blue candle, a chalice of water. So that's cool. Succubi's lament, dream invasion. Look. So I'm just saying, if you were, listen, what you believe is what you believe as far as all this stuff. But if you are looking, maybe there's a lot of protection stuff in here too, not just stuff that you're initiating, but there's also protective stuff here that you could be doing as well. So it's not all, trying to get somebody. It's not everything. For instance, listen to this one. There's a clairvoyant spell. So this spell will allow you to see people's true intentions and will give you the power to see through any illusion or manipulation. So an amber incense, blue candle. Listen to this. Light the candle and the incense and say the following: Veritas, goddess of truth, grant me the power to see through the lies, to see the intention in everyone's eyes, deception be damned, illusions be gone, a sight that can be counted on. And it says, make sure to give thanks to Veritas, that's in deity, for your new fledgling gift of clairvoyance. Work on this skill through meditation. This ritual can be repeated whenever you want as a ritual. As your connection with Veritas grows, your power of clairvoyance will also as well. So there you go. Um, yeah, this there's a perversion curse. So I just want to tell you, it's just the I don't know, it's the creativity that's getting me with some of this stuff. Um, but yeah, this is I mean I don't think it's bad to have stuff like this in your witchy library. I don't think it's bad at all actually. Um, and then there's something called a shadow circle, right? So shadow circle. A shadow circle is a sacred, shielded place to conduct rituals that require the utmost concentration and focus, especially useful when conducting malevolent rituals. Cast a circle to prevent any stray energies that could potentially interrupt or hinder your ability to concentrate and focus your intentions. The circle is actually a sphere of protection that can potentially be any size that you wish. In this ritual, I'll be using an athame to cast a circle, but you could use a wand, your hand, staff, pretty much any phallic tool will work. And again, all you need is an athame, wand, staff, or hand, and a space to create a circle. So I thought that was interesting, the way that they worded that. Now, I'm someone who, for in the beginning in my witchcraft journey, I did cast a circle very often, and then I realized I didn't as much. I didn't feel the need for it, and now I have been doing that more often, and I sort of have some tools set up, things to symbolize earth, air, water, fire, already ready to go, just for that purpose. So I have black salt that I use for earth. I usually keep moon water for water, fire. I have multiple like tea light candles on a plate. Um, and then for air, I like to burn like an incense cone or sometimes just a stick of incense or something like that. But yeah, I've been doing that a lot more lately. And I've enjoyed doing that. I feel sometimes in your practice, you revisit certain things that you thought, oh, I don't need to be doing that anymore. I can just do it all in my head. And I can. But as I'm growing more into my practice, I am more into the theatrics. I realize I like the ceremony. I sometimes like to do things quick and be done, but other times I like the pomp and circumstance. I'm yeah, I like to do all the other items and have all the things and laid out and set the tone. I want like a certain music, a playlist going. I want the air has to be a certain temperature. Like I'm getting very detailed when I sit down and do a ritual. Does this mean I have to be this way every time? Of course not. But lately, I don't know, but like I like to set the tone um, because it feels, there's something about that that just feels right. They do have other types of spells in here. They talk about like sage cleansing, protective magic, sage cleansing or smudging, home protection, crystal enchantment. I do that. A spell of protection, rune of protection, and even a protection potion. Spoiler, it has vervain in it. A witch bottle, which is something I use as well. Oh, a ritual of undoing. When a spell doesn't go as desired, whether it be lack of focus, misdirected intention, or unexpected outcomes, it's good to perform a ritual of undoing to prevent any further harm. Think of it as sending energies out to negate the ones you wish to undo. Now, as soon as I said this, why does this make me think of that documentary? In the very beginning of that documentary, I'm going back to the documentary called I Am a Witch. I just thought of this when the woman is reading the spell. It's like the cinnamon prosperity thing that is trending right now in a lot of places. People are thinking this is what you do. Anyway, so she takes the cinnamon, she reads, it says to blow it into your home because think of the action of the cinnamon represents prosperity. So if you blow it into the home from your doorway, you're sending in prosperity, right? Okay. What does she do? This is in the very beginning. She blows, she's like, oh, well, I'm going to blow it out. So you're essentially doing the very opposite of what you say you want. You're blowing prosperity away from your home. And I felt like that should have been a do-over, or there should have been words, or we should have, or maybe her realizing that and then coming back to it. Like, but no, we just let that rock. And I just, I just can't. I just can't with that. That right there pissed me off from the beginning. But anyway, so yeah, the free it says, yeah, they're using a rune, a let me show you the rune. The Isa rune, is it? That's right there. That white symbol. Paintbrush, paint or pen, parchment paper. Isa is the, and I hold on, it's not Isa, it's Isa, right? It's the rune of ice and represents binding, freezing cold, and is the opposite of Fihu, the rune of movement. We'll be using Isa to freeze and negate those energies from the spell you wish to undo. So that's what you're doing. And the charm, by the way, if you're curious, says freezing winds come blowing through, chill these forces I wish to undo, frozen in place, impotent now, only released if I allow. Um, there's a couple different ways you can undo something. It really depends because I've been asked, well, how would you undo something? It depends on what the spell is. Um, and what the way you did the spell. Sometimes, if it was simply a charm that you spoke, that's a little easier to undo, um, because you can just rewrite it to do the opposite. Literally, you could just take the words and rewrite, basically just deactivate everything you said. I mean, it's a little tricky to think it out, but it could be. It's easier than if that wasn't what you did. And let's say there was like a series, there was a ritual, there were spells, there were several things, and then you decide, wait, I don't want to do this anymore. What I would do in a situation like that, and this actually is more, this can happen. I'll use myself as an example. Let's say, because at one point when I first moved to Arizona, we were looking for a house, and I was writing and I was scripting, I was doing a lot of things. So I sort of had my mind set on a certain outcome and a certain picture. I was open for it, but there was something very, very key that would be changing that I wouldn't know yet. Um, so in my case, yeah, I'm just trying to think this out. So if I, yeah, so when I was scripting and doing that, I was one of four in my household. It was four of us. That changed. So that's going to change what I would desire. So if I had went for a larger family home to accommodate four people, um, that would be really a problem for me because that's not my reality. And I really, I mean, I'm not going to say no to space, but I don't need that much space. I really don't. So I think if I had casted a spell, multiple spells, I'm scripting. So there's a lot of magic and energy constantly being put into the universe, to facilitate this outcome. And in the process of me doing that, if I realize, oh shoot, let's say it's just going to be me, I don't need a gigantic house. And that's what I was envisioning. That's what I was scripting. That's what I was drawing to me. But deep down, I don't mean, I want to live in a condo. I want to live in a high rise in downtown. I don't even want what I thought I wanted before. Um, Instead, I wouldn't focus on undoing because I still want that energy I've been putting in. I would just start reimagining um, the outcome versus trying to undo it. It's like, oh no, because I want to capitalize off the energy I've already raised and I've already directed. But I would just split it, and my scripting would immediately change. And I would even write, but then I like to tell stories. So I would write the story and how, I was and how effortlessly I was able to change. I'm so grateful that I was able to come to the determination with ease that a high rise is a better, space for me. And the doorman, the concierge brings my packages to me, and I feel safe. And I would be writing like that, and I would just start working the magic. Any other spell I would do, I would start to see that outcome. I would immediately shift to that. I would not worry about what I had been thinking or something like that. But that's what I would do. I would focus more on the what it is I want. Now, if you've already received something, or you feel like it's all, you've already gotten this thing that you put a spell for. So let's say it's a person. Let's say you were wanting to meet someone, and you meet someone, and for whatever reason, let's say we're not going to say it's horrible, they're mean or something like that. Let's just say you're it's not what you wanted. You kind of you thought you wanted to be with somebody, but actually you don't. You like things before, and you kind of just this person is here and they're liking you, but you don't like them like that. You kind of don't want to do this anymore. Um, but you've attracted what is the perfect person to you. You know, they on paper, even rationally, you understand that this should be your mate. Um, but you don't want that. You don't want to do that. And they're already here. So I think for me, I would, in a situation like that, especially if I know that they were now, we've been spending some time together and they kind of like me. Um, One, you got to be honest with people. So let's just the mundane, the muggle side of things. You got to be honest with people and let them know, hey, I don't think I want to do this, and let it go. But I would be a parting gift of I wouldn't want to get in the way of them finding, like, let them find their true match. It would be more of a thing, like, I would be sending them a lot of positive energy. I would be sending them, kind of just to, kind of balance it out a little bit. Um, yeah, I'd be sending them a lot of positive, lovely, peace, happy energy as they go on their way. That's what I would be doing to rectify that. And shadow work would be my next thing I would be doing after that to find out what the heck is going on with me. Why did I waste this person's time? But anyway, this is an interesting book, and I think it's some actually decent rituals and spells in here that you can use as a foundation and you can really work. Um, I'm just saying, and it's on Kindle, unlimited, so it's if you're unlimited subscriber, you're not paying anything extra. So Dark Rituals by Brittany Nightshade. I'd recommend this one to you. I think it's a pretty decent book of information, spells to work to get into. Now, the other thing that I'm in the process this was one of my some, and I don't even think this is witchy. It's called It's Elementary by Elise Bryant, but I'm a sucker for a murder mystery. Murder was not on the PTA agenda. This is in my reading in progress book. And I may or may not share. It's not really too witchy. I don't know. It depends on how good it is. I might have to talk about it. But I do have some other things lined up for you guys, and I'm really excited. I I've been feeling more creative. One, I've taken time off of social media. I still want to go back to the 7 books you recommended in a previous video. I'll never say no to more books. Oh, the 7 book. I was like, the 7 books. Oh yeah. I was like, what's the? Oh, you mean if I was starting my witchcraft journey, and where would I start? Yeah, those. I'm like, yeah, you should. You should go back to those books. In that video, I list all the books on Amazon. Those are affiliate links, by the way, if you wanted to use those. But yeah, I do. And they all are still in copy and existence, so you can get them. Get them all. Check your libraries, because some of them at this point might be available um, through your library, so you might not have to buy all the books. So check that. And now we do the ebook thing. Most libraries do that, so look into that as well. So I know I check occasionally. My library system. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not good, but they don't. They didn't have anything I wanted, and they don't get new stuff in about witchcraft as often as I would like. So, I'm buying them right now. And I wanted to talk about, Kindle Unlimited. That way, I wanted to pick another book in case there was something, if you're a subscriber, you're not paying anything extra for it. So free-ish, free-ish. But yeah, I have some really cool things lined up for September. I'm really excited because like I said, this channel and the new channel, uh, Lifestyle of a Cottage Witch, um, I have really taken a break, kinda, sorta, through the summer. It's just been relaxed days over here. I don't post at the same rate that I was. And I know that's kind of crazy. You start a new channel and then not post all the time, but I needed the break. I need the time, and I'm glad I did. And right now, I'm kind of just in a normal amount of energy. I wouldn't want to say revved up because I can burn out if I rev up too much, but more like I'm just naturally looking forward to starting the fall, coming into a new season. It just feels right. Um, and yeah, I've already planned things out for this channel and for the other channel and things that I think would be of interest, and kind of adding in how I've been feeling more about my practice, and hopefully it reflect here on this channel as well. Um, Again, I kind of, like I said, I like a little bit more ceremony. I like a little bit more pomp and circumstance, a little bit more. I like to add a little bit more elements to it. Um, I don't know. I just into it's the detail. What they said, the devil's in the details. I want to get a little bit more detailed with certain things. And, I have the time to focus on these types of things. I'm very grateful. And I figure, why not? And it's fun. Someone asked me, why do you have so many Halloween decorations up? And the rest of my home is Halloween Central. And I was asked, why do you do that? Um, I think it was the bats. The bats that I have on the kitchen cabinets might have been might have been the why, but because it's fun. Actually, I've had more than one person ask me this. And I said, because it's fun. That's it. It's fun. It's a sense when I wake up in the morning and I walk into my living area and I look around, it's freaking fun. I immediately feel good. And back in those days when I was scripting, when we first moved here from Florida, and I was scripting not just a place, but a lifestyle. I literally live that lifestyle right now. I live it. I live what I wrote those years ago, and I have been living it, but I'm doing it. I remember writing something like waking up in the morning, seeing the bright sun come through my window, and I have a large window in my bedroom. And I talked about getting like my cup of tea. Sometimes I would say tea, sometimes I would say coffee, which is weird because I kind of go back and forth about that. And I would talk about it, like I would say, what I do now is what I wrote. I literally am living it. And it wasn't a thing where I'm making myself do it because that's what I wrote about all those years ago. I naturally evolved, like things just happen. And here I am doing those things. And how I come into my craft room. And the word craft room to me is literally to do craft in witchcraft. It's where I'm at. And do my magic. And my magic and my craft, and work on my craft, whether it's writing, whether it's making videos, whether it's um, being a spiritual guide to someone, whether it's being a tarot reader. Yeah. And I do all those things in this room. So yeah, I'm actually living that out. It's pretty cool to know where my mind started and where I'm at now. So yeah. I'm going to end it here. I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. Seriously, this was a fun, spicy read, and it was a slow burn, so you don't get it right off the bat. But very, very interesting book. Um, yeah, because if I start talking too much, I'm going to give some plot points away that I think you need to kind of just let happen. And I'm actually going to go ahead and start book two because I'm really curious to know what happens with the next sister. This is a bunch of sister witches, and I want to know about her story, what's going to happen with that. So I'm going to read that one too. And like I said, I have some fun books, witchy books, spell books, and things like that some things I've already actually purchased, and I'm going to read, and we're going to have our book reviews and hauls and all that stuff. And getting back to a more consistent posting schedule here, and on the other channel starting. I want next week. Geez, I just realized that next week, September. September is next week, which means the official start of fall is next month in September. Do I know this? Yes, but it's just throwing me off because I can't believe how fast things went. We're almost at the official end of summer. Do you guys have summer rituals? End of summer rituals? Do you have something? Not, it doesn't have to be like this big thing that you do where you're lighting a candle and all that, but like, do you have end of summer rituals? I think for most people, Americans, it's that Labor Day barbecues. For most of us, that is a ritual. Most people, it's a cookout, a barbecue, or you might just do something that weekend if you're not, if you're not doing a cookout barbecue thing. For a lot of folks, or you go someplace like that's that. I think that is the official end of summer ritual for a lot of people, non-witches and all. But when I was coming up, I think that was, and now I've been thinking about it because I have been able to live in a place where the weather doesn't dictate the end of summer. I think for me, it's just the Halloween decorations. Once the Halloween decorations come up, I've kind of checked out from anything that has to do with summer. And I started in August. So actually, I started in July shopping. But I think I started really putting things up in August. But yeah, so for me, I was wrapping this summer thing up in August. And yeah, Halloween, once the Halloween decor comes out the garage, out of storage, and I start putting that stuff up, yeah, it's a wrap. It's no longer um, summer for me. So that's my ritual. Like, just when I mean ritual in the truest sense, it doesn't have to be, spooky. Not that I've considered, but as summer enjoyer, I prepare to wear more layers, right? Also, your wardrobe. Like, do you start, shopping for new things, new pieces? Um, or, when I grew up in the Northeast, so our winter clothes would be put away, stored, you take them out the drawers and closets and you put them someplace else because you're we have multiple wardrobes. We don't just have, so you need room for your summer wardrobe, but winter wardrobe is technically fall too. Um, so once because it has to do with back to school, once we start pulling the clothes out and get new clothes, yeah. That was also the signal. Back to school shopping was summer's wrapping up. That was the end of summer ritual. But yeah, more layers. I'm doing layers today. I have on my witchy dress and I have on this. I love this. I love stuff like this so much. So I'm already invoking the layers. It is hot as heck outside. I'm sure it's like 100 degrees at least outside. I don't even know what the temperature is. Let me see. I'm curious. Uh, yeah, it's 101. No, no. Is it 101? Well, yeah, 105. Silly goof. Well, this is for Phoenix. It's 105 degrees. I'm not sitting currently in Phoenix, I'm near it, but it's 105 degrees. Which oddly enough, it feels nice. I'm driving, so can't text much, but thank you. Oh, hi, Gina, for recommending a Dark Matter show. Oh, it has changed how I do scripting. That has stayed with me. Have y'all seen a movie or read a book that like it literally changed your life and the way you think? That is one of that I cannot. Right. Thank you for bringing that up, Gina. Because I was talking about scripting, dark matter. If you were like, I'd like to get back into scripting, watch that series. It's on Apple. Apple has that weird thing where they have like ridiculously well put together series or movies and they never advertise. I don't know what that is about. I don't know what the process is over there, but Apple TV. So you can watch it, but I think you have to like I know on Roku TVs there is an Apple TV like app thing, so you can watch the stuff, but you just have to like have I think you got to have a subscription or something. I made my husband watch it. It made quite the impression on him too. You know what? when you get a chance, come back and comment on this. I'd love to know your thoughts about this. If you want to, you can email me too. Remember, I just let y'all know, Mika@leaptaken.com. Gina, I would love to know. Or you can also, in the, if you're, yeah, yeah, Discord, safe place for witches on Discord. Guys, please go over there. That's a great place for just chat. I will talk to you. That's cool. Let's do that, and we all can talk to each other about this kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely that will change your perception of manifesting and what that is, and the idea that, as you're living your life, the things you don't do and the things you do, they don't just have consequences, but maybe in another universe, another time continuum, you made that decision and things play out like they exist. This is just the you in this one. It's an interesting thing. But if you kind of look at things like that, instead of it kind of blowing your mind and making your head hurt, just start thinking about, well, what if I just start being more intentional about my reality and what I believe my reality is? And this is beyond the just be delusional thing. This is like, what if I decided my reality and really believing you have the power to affect your reality? It's going to take some mental work because you're going to be looking around. And I've been in that space before where I'm looking around. I was like, this is not my reality. I don't like this. And I don't like, I could be thinking these thoughts, but how is it going to change? I needed to change now. And I feel like I'm going crazy if things don't change right now. Like I've thought like that. So it's going to take a master level of intention and focus. But just keep trying it. And I'm going to tell you something, as someone who wrote and scripted and had a book where I wrote out this reality, and I'm living that reality. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to stay. You can change it. So I gave some examples about like undoing a spell or something that you've done, and maybe it's not quite what you thought you wanted. Um, Write what you want. Go back in and change it. That was the kind of the theme in that series, by the way. Until you get as close to what you want as possible, or keep going till you feel like you got exactly what you want. But you have the power to do so. All you have to do is start believing you do have the power. But isn't that part of witchcraft? Believing you truly do have the power. Why am I getting messages? Anyway, that believing you truly do have the power. And now I'll end it. Thank you, Gina, because thank you for revving me back up about that. Because that I cannot speak enough on that, and I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are and your husband's thoughts on it. I'm looking forward to reading that. All right. Well, I again hope everybody have a great weekend. Hopefully you like the book recommendations, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week with some new fun content. Bye.